Expecting China to endlessly consume Western output wasn't just optimistic, it was Western arrogance on display. Porsche didn't just misread demand, they misread identity, something Porsche does not do very often. Hey guys, welcome to Overcrest. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jake.
And we have another news episode for you today where we cover the best news in the automotive industry. Industry?
It's the interesting industry.
It is. We've got some opinions, which are the best ones, obviously.
I don't believe it.
Well, do you think your opinions are the best opinions?
No, I just don't believe at all that we'll have any opinions from you. I can't believe that. I'm being sarcastic, Chris. You got to pick up on these things. I like your hat. Is that a new Christmas present?
It was a birthday present. Yeah, birthday present.
Very
it's like
good.
an old school like farmer hat, Heinz tomato seeds. Yeah.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you,
it
sir.
Was 2 days ago? 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Your gift didn't arrive, did it? I didn't hear anything from you.
No, I guess it didn't.
Okay. Never mind. That's all I needed to say.
Jake, I have a rant.
Oh boy.
I have a rant. I have not ranted in a while.
Really?
I haven't, right? Have I not had a rant in a while?
I don't know.
Okay. I want to take a second to explain something, and this comes from economics, and it's going to seem like I'm going off the rails. But I promise
Here we go.
that I will bring it around. Okay? I'm going to bring it around. Do you know who King Solomon is?
Yes.
Yeah.
From biblical times.
From biblical times. That's right. That's right.
And I'm trying to remember Sunday school. What else do I know?
That's probably King Solomon. This is a very famous scene. He was famous because he knew when not to push things too far. He ruled ancient Israel in the 10th century BCE, and his reputation was built on judgment, not force. He was a good king. The story everybody remembers.
Yeah, is he the one with the firstborn son or whatever?
No, I don't believe so. I've read the Bible front to back twice, but I don't. What's that?
Like
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yeah.
Okay,
So the story is, there's a dispute, and I was gonna read what I wrote here, but basically the story was there was a dispute between two women who both claimed that a baby was theirs. Okay, so they both had claimed that the baby was theirs.
Down the middle and one to each. And then the real mother wouldn't want that.
Exactly. And the other one's like, "Ha, fine, do it." And the other woman is like, "No, don't do it." And of course, then
is that what that painting was right there? Because
yes, that's what the painting was.
Can we bring that up again, Miss Producer? It oddly looked like he was just grasping a bosom. If you notice, I think it was prayer hands, but nope. The next one. I don't know.
Jake really just needs to see boobs in a painting. He's just so desperate. There are websites for this, Jake.
That looked weird to me. Okay, anyways, go ahead.
So basically what it was is that two people claim the baby. Solomon suggests cutting it in half, not because it's the solution, but because the extreme answer exposes who actually understands the cost. The point wasn't cruelty, it was restraint. Solomon became shorthand for the idea that wisdom lives in the middle, that system breaks at the edges, and that the job of leadership is knowing where pressure keeps things alive instead of tearing them apart. Okay, so economics. This is a concept. It's called the Solomon curve. All right? Oh. So this idea emerged out of post-war economic thinking when economists noticed something that ran against intuition.
Post-war being World War II?
Yes. Yeah, this is post-war. Well, what do they mean when they mean post-war? I think when I think of post-war, when I think of post-war, I'm going to say World War I. Because when I think of post-war cars, post-war is after World War I. You have pre-war and post-war. I'm going to assume this is World War I.
Okay.
So you'd assume that zero inflation would be ideal, right? Stable prices, no erosion of value, total predictability. But in practice, systems operating at near zero inflation tend to stall. Spending slows, investment dries up, debt becomes harder to manage, nothing is breaking, but also nothing moves. Deflation is even worse. It doesn't freeze the system, it reverses it, making hesitation the only rational choice because you don't know how far down prices of goods are going to go.
Yeah, so you should hold on to your dollars because otherwise they'll be worth it.
Yeah, lack of inflation causes delay in growth. There's basically no sense of urgency to buy. One nice thing about inflation, which is why our economy is running red hot right now as they're trying to deflate the debt. So you always want like a little bit of inflation because planning becomes predictable. This kind of stuff. I don't want to get too far into the economics of this. I'm going to get to my point as fast as I can. At the other extreme, high inflation has its own failures, right? Prices rise too fast, income doesn't keep up, planning becomes impossible, confidence evaporates, and everything turns really reactive. What economists found was that systems function best somewhere in the middle. There's a narrow band where enough pressure exists to force movement and decision-making, but not so much that it's overwhelming. The middle zone became the target, not perfection, not stillness, a managed tension. I'm not going to get into whether the Federal Reserve and all these things are good or not. That's don't ask me these questions.
Okay.
I just want to talk about this and then get to the point. I would love to go on a rant about the Federal Reserve. You know it, but I'm not going to. The name Solomon Curve.
The gold in there, Chris? Is the gold in there?
Different episode. Please go back and listen to it. It's one of my favorites. The Solomon Curve isn't symbolic. It's technical. A reference to King Solomon. Once you understand all of this, it becomes hard to unsee, avoiding extremes, not because moderation is virtuous, because systems survive in moderation. You start noticing that shared systems don't actually fail because someone pushes too hard. They fail when participants stop committing to move forward together, when they hover, when they wait, when they refuse to apply pressure, even when the situation clearly calls for it. Flow breaks down, not because of chaos, but because of indecision. Momentum disappears. Gaps open and close unused. Everything slows down and compresses and starts compensating for the absence of movement. At that point, it doesn't matter how careful anyone thinks they're being. The system degrades. The system I am actually talking about? The road. Driving.
Oh, okay. That's not at all where I thought that was going.
Yes. On one end, you've got deflation hesitation. This is where waiting feels safe, but quietly kills the system. It's not going at a
speed. This is literally about speeding.
It's not going at a stop sign. Yeah, see, look at this right here. See this? See this chart?
Yeah, okay.
It's not going at a stop sign when it's your turn. It's sitting at a right turn on red with nothing coming. It's refusing to merge even though there's clear space. The rules are obvious. The risk is low and still nothing happens. People freeze because making no decision feels safer than making the correct one. But hesitation is not neutral. It forces, you can pull that down, Mrs. Producer. It forces everyone else to guess. It creates sudden braking, last second lane changes, and confusion. That is how crashes happen. Not from speed, but from unpredictability. Then there's the 0% inflation. This is the slow rot. Camping in the passing lane at the speed limit, speed matching across lanes, parking lot standoffs that drag on forever. Nothing is technically wrong. Nothing's being done is illegal, but everything is clogged. Traffic compresses, tempers rise. People start taking risks to get around the obstruction. You didn't cause the crash, but you set the conditions for it. And then you've got hot inflation. Too much pressure.
Hot boys.
Too fast. Weaving through traffic, tailgating, blowing past everyone like physics do not even apply to you. This is the obvious one. The margins disappear. When something goes wrong, it goes really, really wrong. Here's the part of all of this that people don't often hear. The deadliest driver is not always the a-hole flying past everyone at 90, though. It's the person who will not fucking go. The one who freezes at the stop sign, like the concept of your turn is a moral dilemma. You ever been at a stop sign? This is, dude, I've been lately. I'm losing my mind. Losing it. Okay. What are people doing? What are they doing? Why is everything happening at a snail's pace? It's like everyone is crawling. And I feel like it's getting worse and worse and worse. Have you experienced this? Like, what is it? What is going on with people being like, what's happening?
There are a couple factors. So you're saying this is new. You've just realized and noticed this.
No, it is not new, but it is getting worse.
What is the big factor? all things being equal, that has changed for you, Chris? What has changed for your perception and your sample of driving in general?
I have moved from a rural area with low traffic. However, I did drive on a pretty busy road. Now I live. What? I live in town.
You live in Wayzata.
What does that have to do with anything?
Cake-eating housewives that don't know how to drive, and I don't know. There's definitely the variable here that has changed is your location. So yes, you lived out in the country. Great, yeah. Farm boys know how to drive.
It's driving me crazy.
When you did go in, you went into the city. Guess what? City traffic is generally a bit more aggressive. They know how to get around. They're going. There's a lot of traffic.
No, it's not aggressiveness that necessarily bothers me. Okay, a little bit of aggressiveness is fine because it keeps things going.
When you were in the city, that's what I was saying.
Dude, you go into Minneapolis, it's even worse. Okay, it's even worse.
That
people will not commit. You'll sit at a stoplight and they look at you, and you go.
After you,
Martha. I go, and I actually.
Okay, after you.
This is.
Hold on. Do you do this? Hold on.
Yes, I do that. And what Jake is doing right now is directed
and pointed out of his windshield.
And you know where I got that from?
Where?
Adam Carolla talked about it on his podcast 10 years ago.
I do remember
he talked about it on his podcast. He points at people and says, "Go."
Move. I am the traffic police now. Go.
I just want to say that everyone is outsourcing their fear and decision to everyone else. If you are the person that's doing this shit, you are causing problems for everyone else. You might be safe, but everyone else has to change the norm of what's supposed to happen because you can't figure your shit out. That's it. What's
supposed to happen is whatever the law of the road is.
Exactly. Exactly. However, there is these instances where someone's going to, turn into a driveway or something. And they slow down so much. They slow down so much that you just go, "What are you doing?" What are you doing? Why aren't you go? What is the psychology of that? Are they completely naive of the rest of the world around them? Is that what it is? Is that what's going on? Are they completely oblivious?
Okay. You could have, tell me if this theory is right. Are people, due to isolation of being on devices and not interacting and going outside, maybe COVID's to blame, we have all been very introverted and introspective and self-absorbed, that they literally, you cannot, when people are in their cars, they're in a bubble. This, I think, is a fact.
100%. Yeah.
You do not think about the world around you, your environment, your surroundings as much when you are in your personal bubble, right?
I 100% agree with you. People feel they feel way safer than they really are. Way safer than they really are.
Well, it's because you're in your 15,000-pound, electric SUV that can just boulder through anything. So.
It can just run over a guy that's jaywalking over on Wayzata Boulevard, like it happened last night. Just happened. Guy's dead. Oh. Somebody just didn't see the guy. Well, granted, the guy was jaywalking in the dark, but I feel like people are very, very disconnected to what's going on around them on the road. They're very disconnected. They're texting. They're on their phone. The car is beeping for them. It's keeping the lane for them. Have you? Your new truck must have lane assist. Have you used it?
Actually, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Really?
My Con has lane assist. I kind of miss it a little bit in the truck, only because it's really wide. Like I need some assistance to be like, whoop, I'm already over in that line. Oh, I only got a couple inches over here. Oh.
How is parking that thing?
Great, all the cameras, but you do need to take like a 27-point Y turn.
Yeah, ridiculous. All right, that was my rant. I really feel like I wish there was a statistic where I could figure out how indecision and
what do you attribute it to? Because I think what we've stumbled upon and what you were getting to is this false sense of safety that a lot of these modern conveniences have afforded folks, right? So when you have the emergency crash avoidance that'll slam on your brakes for you or beeps at you or has your blind spot monitoring where the little light is on in my mirror, so I don't actually have to look. All I have to do is, there's no light on in my mirror, so I can go now. I think maybe that people rely on that too much.
That's been proven. I think Volvo proved that. actually. I think it was Volvo, or maybe they were
So
talking
the
about buttons.
solution, Chris, is to remove all safety features here on
Yes.
out.
Well, so
Back to
here's the thing.
manual transmissions only.
We only go forward, right? We only go forward. We only move forward because the only way to sell a new car is to have it do more. Sometimes I think that people forget that progress is regression. You can move forward.
Definition that is wrong.
You can progress by admitting, by removing things. You can move forward.
Okay, so you're saying
you can regress,
not necessarily regression.
Right.
You don't have to always add in order to progress. That's what you're trying to say.
That's what I'm saying.
Progress is regression. That is.
It can be. You can regress back to a previous version of a car. Why not? But obviously, the shareholders will never go for that. So that's
saying your definition of progression by the term progress means it's additive.
Yeah, I yes, no. Progress does not have to be additive. It can be subtractive. 100%. We can remove things that are wrong and
better with progress.
Yes, do not. Yes, exactly.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. All right, tell me a little bit about. You did great. Tell me about Nokian Tire, Jake.
Nokian Tires are
been making progress on tires for forever. These guys.
Since oh boy, now I got to get my notes up. I think it was 1954 they invented the winter tire, or invited it. They invited it to participate on the roads and make everyone safer. Yes, traction is very important. Chris, did you wake up to like literally a sheet of ice on everything?
I haven't even looked outside yet. I just went and sat down and started working on this. I literally had a meeting this morning.
Every morning her alarm goes off at like 6:30, and then she comes over and she wakes me up by going, boop, auto start, because the Porsche doesn't have remote start. And so I go out there and I clear off her windows, and I was like, there was a 1/4 inch of just sheer ice on everything, including.
You can pull that ad down, Mrs. Producer. We see it.
Mount Solberg. So it is a good thing that we have dedicated winter tires. You need them too. The Nokian Hakkapeliitta is the best industry standard. It is second to none, the state of the art when it comes to winter tires and driving performance with traction. The Nokian Surpass ASO1 also offers you all of that all-weather performance with a performance actual tire. So you don't have to sacrifice one or the other. You don't have to make concessions when it comes to safety. So check them out at NokianTires.com today.
Have them on the 4MATIC. The Mercedes thing absolutely tears in the snow. That's my endorsement. It's unbelievable. That's it. That's all I can say. It's a contrast between the cars that I have it and the cars that I have that don't. You don't even want to drive the other car in the snow. All right. Jacob, this week, Porsche did something you almost never see from a luxury brand. They admitted a miss out loud.
What is this photo?
I don't know. What are you doing, Mrs. Producer? Who is this woman?
No, I'm just that lady looks very much computer generated. Like
she
not even like good AI. That was just like.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, I understand why. I think that might have been the Chinese market. Okay. The CEO of Porsche, Oliver Bloom, said publicly that the company got China wrong. Quote, "We were too optimistic in China. The market has changed significantly. Consumer demand is much weaker. Competition is extremely intense, and price pressure is very, very high. We have to accept that the assumptions we previously had about the Chinese market no longer apply." Not in a hedged way, not in a, quote, "we'll adjust allocations" way. What engine is that? What are we?
That was
Mr. Producer.
You're literally she typed in Porsche and China.
What is that thing? What is that?
That's
the tag you are.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Formula One Porsche engine. And say, hey, well, it's close enough.
And they look Chinese, so it's probably right. Okay.
This all matters because for the last 2 decades, China wasn't another region on Porsche's sales map. It was the foundation underneath the entire growth story. The headline number floating around this is dramatic. Porsche leadership pointed to an estimated, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
80% collapse in China's luxury car segment.
Wait, when?
Now.
That's now what they're saying.
That's now. Yep. The figure is blunt inarguably overstated, but directionally, the damage is real. Porsche's China deliveries are down roughly 25% from their peak, and the real shock is in profit. Porsche, one of the most profitable automakers on earth, the goose that lays the golden egg, Jake, saw operating profit fall by roughly, and I looked at a bunch of different sources for this when I wrote this because, I couldn't believe it, but it's true. They have seen their operating profit fall by roughly 99% year over year in recent reporting and posted a quarterly operating loss of just under 1 billion euros. That
That's a lot of
is
cars.
structural failure. It's bad. That is
So,
bad.
can I ask you? They admitted that their assumptions with the Chinese market were wrong. What were the assumptions they made? Like, what was the fact that was going to be 80% of the market? Is that what the assumption?
That's what I'm going to get into, because that was my question too, and none of the news articles got into this. Like, why? Like, what is it about the Chinese market? All these things.
Like, what did they think, and how did that dictate
Yes.
what they were actually doing?
Yeah. So to understand why this happened, you have to understand why China matters so much in the first place. I mean, I think that's where we start. So for roughly 20 years, China was the only auto market that felt inevitable. Europe was mature and slow. The United States was cyclical and politically erratic, and we're not growing that much either. Neither is Europe. Japan had already plateaued, and there's no more people being born there. China, meanwhile, was industrializing at a scale that modern world had never seen. Hundreds of millions of people moved into the middle class in a single generation, a rise fueled in no small part by decades of Western consumption and the United States as the primary engine, offshoring manufacturing, capital, and demand into China at an unprecedented scale. That dynamic has not stopped. It continues today as consumers pull up to their mailboxes in tax subsidized vehicles to collect packages shipped on bunker fuel across the Pacific, all while further underwriting China's ongoing industrial growth. And for our purposes, the scale shows up clearly in one defining metric. And I always speculated this was the case, but I pulled the numbers. In the early 2000s, China had roughly 100 million licensed drivers. By 2010, that number had doubled, 200 million. By the 2010s, it crossed 300 million. Today, China has over 500 million licensed car drivers, more than the entire population of the United States. For nearly 2 decades, China added something like 20 to 25 million new drivers every single year. Every new license represents a potential buyer, a future upgrade, a rising aspiration. Western automakers didn't imagine this market growing. They watched it grow in real time and assumed it would continue indefinitely and just for them. Remember, China wasn't always making great cars. German brands in particular became shorthand for success. If you had made it, you bought German. Engineering, order, heritage, sense of arrival. Porsche leaned into that belief harder than most. Expanded dealer networks, China-specific planning, new factories. Internally, China wasn't treated as a variable. It was treated as gravity, as an inevitability. After all, it's Porsche, right? It's Porsche. They got the heritage and everything.
Yeah.
This is where the story gets weird, because it wasn't just bad forecasting or slow reaction time. Porsche didn't wander into this direction on a whim, okay, with this EV stuff, which is where they're losing the majority of their money. The broader regulatory and cultural environment pushed them there at the exact moment China was best positioned to benefit. European regulators, environmental policy, and activist pressure created a world where aggressive electrification was not optional. Compliance targets tightened, penalties loomed, capital flooded toward EV narratives where customers were ready or not. At the same time, China controlled their supply chains, battery production, and the pace of iteration. Automakers did not chase this future. They were herded into a direction China already mastered. The result was a strategy shaped by regulation, executed into China's shadow, and it exposed the moment domestic Chinese brands met the market faster and cheaper. That moment is right now. Yeah. This is where Western hubris enters the story. There was a deeply held belief, and there still is, and this is a mistake. I want to make this very clear. There was a deeply held belief that China would want what we're selling simply because we are selling it. That luxury, as defined by Europe, would remain aspirational forever. That Chinese buyers would naturally progress toward our idea of prestige. That
Mm-hmm.
belief is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese consumers did not just get wealthier, they got more confident. Younger buyers care less about lineage and more about capability. Software matters, screens matter, integration matters, EV performance matters, and Chinese manufacturers are very, very good at those things. In EV land, especially, the tables turn fast. Chinese brands are not just cheaper. In many cases, they are objectively better. Faster development cycles, deeper software stacks, features that feel native rather than bolted on. Meanwhile, Western automakers showed up with expensive electric cars that felt late, compromised, and oddly unsure of themselves. And there's a cultural miss here, Jake, that almost no one wants to say out loud. And this is something, too, that I think the Western mindset, we need to get away from this. We need to get away from this savior complex that is embedded in Western thinking about China. The idea that capitalism and democracy are the inevitable end state of China someday. That Chinese consumers secretly want to be more like us. That eventually they will abandon their domestic brands in favor of Western ones once they finally arrive into our method of thinking. That is not how their identity works. China's middle and upper class is increasingly proud to be Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
They like Chinese products. They trust Chinese brands. There is national affinity there. Just like Americans have affinity for American brands, expecting
Mm-hmm.
China to endlessly consume Western output wasn't just optimistic, it was Western arrogance on display. Porsche didn't just misread demand, they misread identity, something Porsche does not do very often. And this doesn't stop at Porsche. The damage rolls directly uphill to Volkswagen Group, which is getting monkey hammered in China with the sales that are down, market share eroding, dealer network shrinking. The entire
I
German
would
premium
imagine
playbook is
everyone
under
is.
pressure. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. This is the end of the idea that China is a guaranteed growth engine for luxury brands and, in my opinion, regular brands as well. It is
Mm-hmm.
competitive, it is national, it is fast moving. And what comes next is not just going to be collapse, it is recalibration. Brands that understand they are guests in someone else's market might survive. Brands that still believe heritage alone carries enough weight will shrink. Porsche admitting they got it wrong is not just weakness, it is the first honest signal that the old world model is finished. This is a really, really tenuous time. Tenuous.
I disagree that means the old model is finished. I think what this signals is that China is a unique market. And so I have a couple questions I don't expect you to have answers for,
Sure.
but maybe just an observation that, of course, if once China became capable of making products that were just as objectively um, attractive as a Porsche or something else, of course they would win out because
You say
those
that
products
now.
are
That's
made.
that's that's a
I know
conversation of
Oh,
hindsight.
okay. So let me ask you this: Chinese regulation has to be different, right? Or maybe lack thereof. I don't even know. I haven't looked into it. Do they have environmental standards? Do they have crash standards? Do they have these things? My question is BYD, is some of these other Chinese specific manufacturers, are they able to make their products that much cheaper and tailored to the market because of this totally different landscape as far as requirements?
Well, there's a lot of different reasons that stuff is cheaper. They don't have unions. They don't have
They also don't
pensions.
need to ship it over there.
It
They don't
doesn't.
have
Yeah,
to
well,
deal with
that's if
whatever
that was the
tariffs
case,
or
dude. There was a car I saw just in terms of cost to build things, and I think government subsidization is a big part of this. There was a vehicle. I wish I would have kept the reel. I sent it to Mrs. Producer into her Instagram. If she can go into my sent to you and skip over all the memes that I sent you, and find it,
oh,
that'd be
to
great.
me. You sent it to me.
Did I send it to you?
Is that
No,
what
I
you're
sent it
asking?
to
You're saying
Mrs.
you.
Producer. Mrs.
Okay, got
Producer. It was this luxury car, and it had I'm watching this lady swipe. She's in the back seat. She swipes the door thing, and it like raises and
Yeah.
lowers the transparency of the window. She just
Yep.
swipes it like this.
Yeah, I've seen that.
This it like all the stuff that this car does, the way that it, she's reclining back in the seat, and it's like got these things for your phone, and it's just like this unbelievable car with this unbelievable technology. It honestly looks like a Maybach or something, right? I mean, it looks like
Yeah.
it's $140,000, dude. It's it. It's
Yeah.
140 grand.
Yeah.
You get into a $160,000 S class now.
And it
The
doesn't
lower
do
kick
much.
panels are plastic.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
not keeping up. There's too, it's all quagmire and regulation and expectation and
And
heritage.
it's it's interesting. What was my other point about all that? Oh, well, it's you're thinking about, or I was thinking about BMW and how when they went to the big, like, massive grill noses, the big pig snout look, they
Yeah,
did
that
that because we wanted Chinese to be able to differentiate this is a BMW, right? Because they didn't have that historic knowledge of how to tell different makes apart. And so, how much of that do you think is factoring in here? Like, not only do they not care as much about the prestige of these German brands, but also, like, who who cares even if you did know, right? Even if you did say, yeah, BMW is better, who cares? Because the common person in China probably doesn't know or care about the fact that that is.
here. Let me grab this thing. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can. Okay. Uh huh. Oh yeah, Huawei's Maestro S800.
Huawei, yeah, which is banned here.
Thank you.
Look at this thing. It's $140,000. Hawaii's Maestro S800 flagship.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Just waving your arm to shut the door is like crazy. Look, that's an interior, another piece of glass that goes up.
That's cool. I was going to ask you too, as far as their actual market. So we said it grew from 100,000 drivers to 200,000, and now it's at
Million, Jake.
million, not thousand. Now it's at like 500 million drivers or something. Have we reached the market cap? You know what I mean? So the assumption was always, well, that's going to grow. So not only are we realizing that the market doesn't want these vehicles, could it be that we've reached, like, this is, yeah, those are all the drivers. That's the entire middle class now. Like, that's all the people that are going to drive
I highly doubt it. The Chinese economy is still going pretty wild, man.
What
I doubt
have
it.
you also read something about? Oh, that what your phone just like integrates. That was cool. Have you read something about how the population assumptions of China are vastly incorrect?
Yes, but go
And I
on.
don't know if that is a conspiracy theory or what it is, but basically I don't even know what the estimated population of China is, but the theory or the story I read was that there's no possible way that it could be that high, and it is orders of magnitude smaller. They just simply, there are not as many people in China as we assume or thought, and how that factors into the
Maybe
fact that I don't know, is this as big of a market? I don't know, it's fascinating, and I'm curious.
that I
So
can't really
okay,
comment on that, but I can comment on, I think one of the reasons why this was all rejected too is I've got into this before, is you and I have both grown up around car culture.
right,
So we've
exactly.
had an identity of what all of these brands mean, represent,
That's
and
what I was
stand
getting at.
for our
Yeah,
entire lives, right? I mean, we grew up with Hot Wheels. You could buy your dad, if he loved you, would come home and bring you like a little Hot Wheels car. It would be this car. It'd be like, oh my gosh, you do that for your
yeah.
son. Your son is going to have an identity of what cars are, what a Porsche is. He's going to know what they are, know that they're race cars, know what trucks do, and all these different things. In China, 20 years ago, there's nothing. There's entire groups of
Right.
people that grew up with no influence from any car culture whatsoever. So they don't have this heritage bullshit. Doesn't
They
matter.
don't have any preconceived notions
Nothing.
of a brand.
They had nothing. So it's none of the
Also,
heritage matters. None of the luxury matters. There's no definitive what luxury is. Like we've seen it.
yeah,
We've seen it in all
exactly.
kinds of pop culture and movies and stuff like that. It doesn't really exist there.
Which is very subjective. Like luxury. We've talked about this lowercase luxury versus uppercase luxury. Do you remember this conversation
No.
about, like, uppercase luxury is the concept of the heritage and the brand, and it's kind of like what's behind it, whereas lowercase luxury is like, okay, well, look at the actual features and benefits that are being delivered. Like, this is leather, so it's luxurious, versus like, no, this is a high-end design chair, even though it may not be made out of quote luxury materials. That's the quote uppercase luxury, or whatever, however we decided that. And so my point is, Chinese market not having this preconceived notion of luxury brands
Yeah, they
would
have no
just
idea.
look at the Huawei and say, well, yeah, this one's more luxurious because it has all these things.
Which is,
So
it's probably a
true.
better place to be coming from, if I'm honest.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah,
not
it's
tainted by,
different ways of
does it
looking at
say,
that.
does the purse say Louis Vuitton on it or not?
Right.
It's, yeah. Okay. So, why don't you tell me a little bit about the common gear before we get into, some more, in my opinion, good news, but also kind of bad news.
Uh-oh. Well, how about just news in general? Yes, the Common Gear is a really cool partner. I'm going to bring up their ad read here so I can say exactly what it is. So, the Common Gear is basically a single hub, a place to digitize every record and every story of your car. And when it comes to your cars, let's face it, the story matters just as much as what it is. Every receipt, every late night fix, maybe even every rally mile and trip you took, that really builds up and adds up to what your car's identity is. But it's not easy to have all that in one place. You might have it on Instagram, some of your photos. You might have oil change receipts in your glove box, or maybe they're in the file folder that's behind me that I have a bunch of automotive receipts in. What this does, the Common Gear, it fixes that. It's a platform built by real car people, allowing you to digitize everything: maintenance records, builds, provenance photos, history, and it's all organized, all searchable, all in one place. If you've got decades of paperwork, maybe you bought something and it came with an entire file folder, which would be awesome. I love when you get a car and it just has records. They
Yes.
can
Next week,
actually
I'll bring the W124 records out to show you.
do you have that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it's like the very OCD guys that have the older car and they're like, I saved everything and I jotted down every fill up what the oil change mileage was. If you have those decades of paperwork, you can actually send it over to the Common Gear. They have a white glove service where they digitize everything for you, remote or on site. You hand them chaos, they'll hand you a complete car history. It adds credibility, it adds value when it comes to maybe sell a car. So go to thecommongear.com, make your free account, start building your car's digital legacy today.
Oh no, did I close the window? Oh no, I didn't. There's an auction ending. This is total sidebar of a car I want. I want to show it to you.
Oh boy.
Okay. Check this thing out. I want to know, is this thing cool? Is this cool for you? 6.2 liter V8 E63 AMG wagon. It's only $29,000 right now. How many miles did I have on it? Dude, this thing's going to be like 50 grand, I bet. What do you think? What's your estimate? Ends in 40 minutes. We'll check it again at the end of the episode and see.
I was going to say, that's amazing. It's only at 29,000.
It's only been 20 bids. This thing will go. We'll check. Someone remind me. All right.
Hey, Chris, check it.
Hey, one automotive manufacturer talked about bringing back a legendary nameplate for legitimately decades. Not months, not years.
Okay.
Decades. They teased it in interviews, floated it in concepts, let it leak, then pulled it back, then hinted again. Auto show whispers, press photos, the slow drip of, we know what you want. For a long time, it was almost charming. Anticipation, restraint, the idea that when it finally arrived, everything would be perfect. By the end, it wasn't anticipation anymore. It was momentum. The original was one of the most culturally important vehicles ever made. Not because it was fast or luxurious, but because it was useful, honest, and everywhere. It carried families, surfers, bands, tools, and bad ideas that somehow turned into good stories. It was cheap enough to buy and flexible enough to matter. It was easy to fix. It became a symbol without ever trying to be one at all. For years, people kept asking the same question: when are you bringing it back? In 2017, the answer finally appeared: a concept, bright, friendly, and instantly recognizable, and the crowd reaction said everything it needed to. For a brief moment, it felt like Volkswagen had remembered who it was. From there, the marketing never stopped. 7 years of buildup, 7 years of expectation, 7 years of Volkswagen telling us
7 years. Wow.
this wasn't just another car. This was heritage. This is memory. This was the soul of the brand finally coming home. 7 years is a long time to wait for a $60,000 van. Pull that down, Mrs. Producer. Because that's what finally showed up. The electric bus, the ID Buzz, a resurrection decades in the making, landing in the US at a price that immediately reframed the entire conversation. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't practical. Range was bullshit. Utility was actually compromised. And suddenly, this thing that had been sold as the people's vehicle was being pitched as a premium lifestyle object. Nostalgia. Financed. Sales reflected this immediately. Demand was... How did they not know, dude? How did they not know? What are they doing? How did they not know that a $60,000 EV that nobody wanted was not the way? They should have made it. I'm sure the margin was insane.
Option, Chris,
yes, they did. Yes,
the other option?
It could have been. This is exact. Okay. It should have been like what they did with the Bug. It should have been cheap, simple, and easy. But it wasn't. It was expensive, complicated, and not useful. It should have been like the Bug. The Bug saved Volkswagen.
This, devil's advocate here, that probably is as cheap as they could have made it.
No way. That thing had to have been high mark. It's 60 grand, dude.
We know the future's EV. There's no question in our mind this thing cannot be gasoline powered. It has to be electric. Okay, great. It has to be on a brand new chassis.
Dude, an ID3 costs 30 grand. $32,000 in ID3. Why couldn't the bus be MSRP of an ID3? ID3 Pro with a 59 kilowatt hour battery is available from $32,855 until the end of the year.
Okay.
So it's a lower range one.
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah, 32,000 right there. So this thing costs twice as much. 60 grand, dude.
I agree. It should have been cheaper. I'm asking the question, was their hand forced? But you're saying they priced it as that to make it upmarket.
I don't know. Within a year, barely a year of launch, Volkswagen quietly announced the ID Buzz would skip a model year in the US. Call it a pause. Call it inventory optimization. The result is the same. The long-awaited comeback didn't land. Yeah, Volkswagen did not fail because people don't love the bus. They failed because they forgot why people loved it. The original wasn't aspirational because it was expensive. It was not a capital L or lowercase l luxury thing. It was aspirational because of its attainability. It was magical. And Volkswagen failed to recreate and capture that magic. They inflated expectations for 7 years and then delivered something priced like a status symbol and packaged it like a concept car that never grew up. Now, after decades of talking, teasing, promising, and waiting, we're left with a small handful of electric vans that will always be remembered as a curiosity and not a revival. It's more Pontiac Aztec than cultural reset. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, at least those you saw everywhere. Those were cheap. Those were unique enough to be cool in their own way because people could have them. They were attainable.
I don't know, dude. It's really, really, really disappointing. You could
taking a model year off. Okay, they have so much invested in this. They can't can it. They're not going to can it. They can't just be like, "Oops, that sucked. Sorry." They're gonna redevelop it somehow. They're gonna make it cheaper. They're gonna. I bet they better. 27.
It's a failure right now.
Totally different.
Yeah, and the thing is they're gonna probably just like strip it down and make it cheap.
What it should have been.
Cheap
like
shit.
You say, the ID3.
100%. It should just be like the problem is that the entire Volkswagen line has moved upscale. It's moved up. It used to be like just a quirky, nerdy, cheap thing, and fun, and it's just not anymore.
Yeah, but that doesn't make them money. So
it sure made them money for a long time.
I guess.
Sure made them money for a long time. Now they can't sell anything. The problem
is they couldn't compete because when you looked at it, when the time you're thinking of, like 2000-ish, like a Volkswagen, even a base model cheap Jetta, still in our mind, or in my mind, perception wise, felt more like refined, or not luxurious, but like
German.
or
It felt German.
upscale, yeah, than a Civic or something. But price-wise, they kind of competed, right?
Yeah, they were probably they were more than a Civic. They were more, but you've kind of felt like, oh yeah, yeah. But this, dude, these
But
are
not
like this is a
much. Yeah,
luxury. This is
you're
luxury
right.
shit. It's
I
it's
my
it's
whole my whole
really.
point is I don't think they can compete on the same level now as Honda or as a Toyota or someone, there's no differentiation between being more upscale.
I don't know. Have you seen? Have you? I just drove a rental Camry,
Okay.
like which is base.
Yeah.
It's really shitty.
Is
Like it's
it?
very very plastic. Very okay.
Mm.
I don't want to say shitty. If you meet the expectations of what a Japanese economy car is, it's that. Everything's plastic. Dash is plastic. All these things are plastic. Just do that, but like a little bit better.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into another Volkswagen story later on here,
Okay.
and you're gonna see it, and you're gonna go, oh, this is why Volkswagen is failing. You're gonna know it. You're gonna see it, and everybody listening and watching will see it. But we got some more news to get into. Tell me about Onyx before we move on.
Yes, Onyx Off-Road. I use that app more than I ever thought I would, and that's not part of the ad read here. But like, I love the fact that you can look up all this data on Onyx and all these different layers as far as who owns land. That's what I use it for mostly around me. But if you're looking for the best app to navigate your next adventure, it is also amazing for that. They have over 750,000 miles of trails and comprehensive offline maps, so you can explore without worrying about cell service when you're off grid. It features trail ratings, detailed information, discover tools, so you can find trails near you or other routes that people have created. And it tells you exactly where public and private land boundaries are, so you always know where you can legally off-road, camp, and explore. If you want to stay connected, it has cell service layers. It has peace of mind with like wildfire and safety layers to help you avoid things. There's route builders, waypoint marking, real-time updates. You can share your routes. You are literally fully equipped for any adventure on the road, on the trail, or completely off of it. Try it for free for 7 days and hit the road with confidence. Download Onyx Off-Road today.
You know what I'm buying instead of this Mercedes, which has only gone up $500 in the last 10 minutes?
Oh boy.
Stupid basement remodel.
Okay, so I'm gonna tease that later in the episode. We're gonna end the episode with our this is gonna be a new segment going forward. The year-end predictions.
Ah,
Or
yes.
the yearly predictions. It's not year-end because it already ended. We're in brand new year, the annual predictions. And
Yeah, they're coming up.
I have predictions.
I
for
do
what
too.
will happen
I've got a
with
couple of predictions of how you'll be
Yes.
eating your words. It'll be,
Oh
it'll be
no, that's where you are gonna be.
great.
100%.
Sure. For the last
It's gonna
decade
be
or so, this manufacturer has felt like it was in cardiac arrest. Not dead, clinically flat. A company that used to win rallies, build unkillable
Wait,
trucks.
clinically flat is dead, by the way. Like flatline, there's a reason they call flatlining dead.
That's true. You're right.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Your metaphor
But
is
this week,
fun.
something interesting is happening. The language change in motorsport has crept back in. Heritage got mentioned without it being irony or comedy. Suddenly, it sounds like a brand everyone had written off might just have felt the paddles hit the chest. Mrs. Producer, roll the clip. Mrs. Producer, roll.
She has to get the paddles. She's being
She's got to get the paddles out.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
I don't have any sound. Do you have
I
sound?
can't hear it, but
It's okay. You don't need to hear it. But this is
rally cars, the Evo, Lancer Evo.
What brand is this, Jake?
Had the Dakar. This is Mitsubishi, of course.
Mitsubishi. The company that I thought was pretty much making mini splits.
Well, they make everything.
And like
let's be
pianos
fair.
and stuff.
Yeah. No, that's
Well, I had written them off from a car perspective. Look at these. Look at this. This is an ad. This is on Mitsubishi Motors TV.
And for some reason is, I guess,
No,
Japanese. So this is
yeah. Oh no, we had sound. We had sound earlier when we tested it. Anyway,
That's fine.
there's like a
Is this their
little
new
bit of
truck?
a. Well,
What is this?
that's the one. No, it's not the new truck. But there's a little clip at the end of this.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Right there. That's it. That little
That's
clip.
an SUV.
That was what we think is a
an SUV.
Montero. A Montero.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. The Montero wasn't just another SUV in its time. Globally known as the
Yeah, look at
Pajero.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, this thing could be totally lame, but I'm just
I
excited.
know, but look at the rear. Do you see the rear there? It looks very like Defender-esque. So yeah, I'm with it.
Let me see it again.
See the rear like bubble glass
Yeah, it
situation that
does
goes
look.
up
Yeah.
above the top
hmm
roof line and like the rear arch. Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Pajero had
baby.
12 wins overall at Dakar. That's domination. Mitsubishi didn't dabble in rally; they owned it. That success was not marketing either. It bled directly into production vehicles. The Montero was tough because it had to be. Durable because failure was not theoretical. This was Mitsubishi at its absolute peak. So when Mitsubishi starts teasing a Montero revival and wraps it in motorsports language, we
Yeah.
all get a little bit of a chubby, I think. You don't invoke rallying by accidents. You don't reference Dakar unless you really want credibility. For a long time, Mitsu people, this isn't just about whether the new Montero has the right infotainment or lane assist. It's about whether Mitsubishi remembers what made it matter in the first place, whether it's a real attempt to connect with its past or just another branding exercise wearing a familiar name. If Mitsubishi turns this thing into a soft, expensive crossover with some plastic cladding and skid plate cosplay, it's over. But if they lean into durability, motorsport DNA, and actual off-road intent, this could be something different. Not a volume play, but true credibility.
Yes. That is the exact car I had. 1987 Mitsubishi Montero Sport 2-door, the short wheelbase. Here's the one thing, Chris.
Dude, that thing is... You need to get another one of these.
Mine was red. That was my car, but I had a really cool custom welded push bar on the front, a bull bar. So
do you have a picture of it?
I was just thinking, I don't know where.
Yeah, obviously you're not going to be able to find it right now, but
there's one feature that if the new one doesn't have, I don't care about it. It's dead to me. The inclinometer. Inclinometer. Hard to say.
Inclinometer.
No, it was
Inclinometer.
Like inclinometer.
Inclinometer. Yes. I've tried to figure out how to retrofit that into my
on the dash, just like the biggest feature.
Mine does. My Trooper doesn't have it.
No, because it's not a Montero.
No, it's not. Anyway, it would be really damn nice. It really would be real damn nice if we could get one of these.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
You know what would also be really, really nice?
What's that?
If you join the Drivers Club.
Ooh.
Yes.
Join. Why, Chris? What type of benefits? Okay. Is this lowercase luxury or?
I'm gonna tease this again. I think I talked about this in December. We are doing something new for the Drivers Club. I highly recommend that you sign up now because we are going to be launching an entire new Drivers Club system, which is going to give some very exclusive merch and items and really cool stuff that you will cherish. You will truly cherish. And it's going to be only for Drivers Club. It's never going to be for sale at the rallies. It's never going to be for sale. And gosh, there's going to be tons of cool stuff that you're going to get, that you'll be able to flex, that you are part of the Drivers Club, part of this community. I'm just really excited about it.
Yeah.
Head over to overcrestproductions.com/Drivers Club. Obviously, you get all that stuff, right? You get the cool things, but most of all, we just appreciate your support. It's one of the things that I say all the time. You know, without that, the podcast would look a lot like this.
Yeah, we're gonna make efforts to kind of reinvest in this community, and you should definitely be part of it.
Yep. Lots. There's Jake. I think Jake is going to be doing some more exclusive episodes again.
Yep, that's right.
We're very, very excited to start really trying to give back to you guys as much as we can. You know, I asked on the Discord, I said, hey, what do you guys want? And the most common answer is nothing. We're just here to support you. But it is very, very important to me that we give back. And we're very excited to do that. So I'm looking forward to it very, very much. Okay. So, Mrs. Producer, have the clip ready this time. Speaking of rally legends, it looks like our other rally friend, Subaru, might not be done after all. Roll the clip, and I want you to look and see what you see, Jake. Tell me what you see.
I see an STI.
It's very difficult to see, but it's the first. Can you start the clip over again? Just play it again.
Yeah, I saw the STI badge.
You did see it. Okay, it didn't show it up for me.
Yeah,
that is like a really... Subaru officially ended the STI in the 2021 model year. Production wrapped in early 2022. Yeah. At this time, Subaru was very clear there would be no STI version of the current generation of WRX. None. Emissions, cost, and the uncertainty around electrification made it untenable. Full stop. We're not doing it.
That makes sense.
That decision left a very real hole in the brand. I mean, the STI stuff was the only reason Subaru was cool. Otherwise, it's just, tree huggers and whatever else you want to, whatever.
You weren't going to say it.
I'm not going to say it. The WRX still exists, but I don't want to get demonetized. The WRX still exists, but the STI was always the pointy end of the stick. The thing that made Subaru matter to people who cared about driving. Rally was not just a decal set for Subaru, it was the foundation. And again, I get into the same thing that I talked about with the Montero. This better be good. Don't fuck with me and make this some stupid crap that's not real. If it turned into something mechanically serious, you could re-anchor the entire brand. If it doesn't, people are going to move on fast. But for the first time in years, Subaru has got me paying attention yet again. Come on, Subaru. Subaru and Mitsubishi, guys, come on. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Another, hot boy, what were those? What was that segment? What was the STI and the Evo? What do you call that? Because they aren't hatchbacks, but it's like the hot little
racers. I don't know. I don't care about any. I don't care about any of that. I want to see Subaru and Mitsubishi going head to head on a rally stage.
Right.
That's what I want. That's it.
I also liked, and what was cool about that was at the same time you could go to showroom floors and they were head to head.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was the competing models. That's why they competed in rally. It was awesome. It's awesome. It's gone. It's been gone. And they both, all this happened in the last couple of weeks, these announcements. Or not, in January, I think, was the Subaru one. It's right now. This is being announced. This is fresh, hot off the presses news, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, look at it under the little cover right there.
Yep. All right.
We're gonna
better be the sedan. It better not be the stupid hatchback that they did in the 2017.
Yeah, I don't like that thing either. That was lame. I would love a 2.5. You remember when 2.5 RSs were like $3.75?
Dirt cheap. So
because they were, they're not turbo, they're super slow. I remember thinking that. I don't want one of those. They're slow. 100%. Now I want one to do an engine swap so bad, but they're really
like Legos. They just bolt in and everyone's already done
it. Really expensive.
Yes, that makes sense.
Kai Grunitz, Volkswagen brand board member for technical development. This is the name of this guy's job. Says our new interior. There he is. That is Kai Grunitz, the Volkswagen.
Wow, I love the background he used. That is so, wow. That's very bland.
Is that not very Volkswagen? We're going to take no risk whatsoever.
Look, literally, there's nothing in the background. The absence of things is glaring to me. It's literally a white room with white tables. That's what's so bizarre, Chris. Why do that?
It says in the caption, in the background are all the creative ideas Volkswagen has come up with in the last 20 years.
Is that not the weirdest photo?
He's the VBBMTD guy.
Nice.
That's his acronym. He has said, quote, our new interior architecture, and play one of the clips. These might have sound. Our new interior architecture, starting with the all-new ID Polo, elevates the customer experience to a new level. Clean lines, high-quality materials, and an intuitive operating... Here we go. I just want you to... I'm going to rant about this.
Pro mode. Oh my God, that's dumb. What? Okay, what?
Play the next one. Let's just roll through these and then we'll talk about it. Nope, not this one. Play the Volkswagen one, not the Mini one. We're going to get into that. Nope, not that one. What do you see right there, Jake?
Buttons, baby. The buttons are back. Oh, they're just showing all the buttons.
I'm going to make a statement, and you're going to eat your words from earlier in this episode. Sort of, even though it was a heated agreement.
I can't hear you, so
Yeah, Mr. Producer, you can always turn the sound down on those a little bit if you want to. There's a little volume slider.
All right.
We're learning.
Focusing on buttons, for sure.
Buttons, number one. There's two things here.
Okay.
The buttons are regression as progress.
Damn it. Okay, this is a very good example. Okay.
Yes.
So,
there was buttons. No more like Volkswagen always had the haptic feedback things where it's just a little shiny black thing with no
yeah, it
buttons.
was dumb.
Um, I
That wasn't.
I
It's not progress. It's just that wasn't progress. What we did before it wasn't better. So therefore, it wasn't defined as progress. That's what I'm saying.
okay, sure, whatever. But we do have buttons back, which is nice. One thing that I despise though is that retro bullshit.
I didn't even see what it did. Retro mode. What did that do?
Did you not see the gauges were from like a cabriolet, like the square, like all the fuel gauge and all the like the tachometer and the speedometer, all were from like a Mark II, from like
so
a
make
obviously
an actual gauge. Make it a gauge.
just well, that's never going to happen because you know what? It's way cheaper to make the software to make the gauge go than it is to tool up and make gauges. All the different little things that make gauges. Yeah, it's way. Dude, these things. I don't know what their margin is, and they'll never release it. But dude, it's got to be so freaking high. The margin on these things has got to be incredible. This is why that when you get into a Tesla, there's a screen that controls everything because it's cheap. It's the cheapest way to design any of it. I was wondering, however, this made me think of there's one photo. It didn't show up. Maybe there's another clip that we didn't play, but there's this one where it turns your radio into a tape deck. It just shows like what's playing, and then there's like a little tape with the little cogs spinning or whatever.
That's kind of cool or clever, I should say.
No, it should be Winamp. Do you remember Winamp?
Oh my gosh, yes.
There it is. It should be that. Why aren't we doing that instead of a tape? Because look,
throwback.
Yes, this is what it should be. If you're going to do a throwback, it should be to this, not tapes. Not tapes. Anybody that's putting
amazing.
Yeah, look at these. Remember how you could skin? You could do skins on your Winamp?
Yes. Oh, so good.
You could literally have like the Pope or whatever be your skin, or some anime girl if that was your thing. Scroll down, Mrs. Producer. There was a whole bunch more.
I'm sure this exists for some.
No, not in the locked.
Can you hack your Tesla?
Look at that. There it is. Look at the cat. Look at the cat. Dude, Winamp was so cool. And do you remember Geis? Did you ever do Geis?
No, Geis.
It was this. Oh man, Mrs. Producer, just put in the top of the thing there. Look up.
I had that skin.
The gray one.
I had that one.
It was the gray one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, with like the tan. Yeah.
It was like Geis 2.0, but it was like this visualizer that went with Winamp. Are you remembering now?
So in the back of your screen, it would like do all the things, like the waves. It was like yep. Okay. Yes.
Why aren't we doing that as retro? Why does retro always have to be tapes and records? There was a period of time, especially with MP3 culture, that was really, really fun. I think it's a missed opportunity to not be able to skin your own. Yeah, Geis. Here it is. And it would go along with the music.
I don't remember the name, but I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, it was yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it was very trippy.
Anyway, I think it's a missed opportunity. Plus, play the clip of the Mini, the first one with play the first one. This is
that the welcome screen? Oh my gosh.
Turn the volume down a little bit, would you, Mrs. Producer? Or off completely was probably also fine. So this is like is in your Mini. It's an OLED screen. They've talked about it being an OLED screen. Why are we doing this? I'm asking you a legitimate question, Jake. Why is this happening? Yeah, that's the same reaction I've got as that guy right there. What the bleep are we doing?
Wait, does that happen every time you turn the car on? Because that's really annoying.
I don't think so. But look at this.
Oh, good. You can have your hot cocoa in front of your screen. Yay.
What are we? This is how we sell lifestyle, is what's on the screen.
It's different because it's a circle. It's a circle screen, Chris.
We are selling the lifestyle when you look at both the Volkswagen and this. Volkswagen a little more palatable than this Mini thing. We're selling the lifestyle of the vehicle by what is playing on the screen or what the screens can do.
Well, yeah, that's all there is left.
And guess what?
What?
Someone has to make that stuff. You, as a consumer, are paying for that crap. You're paying for it. It's built into your MSRP. You're paying for it. So you're sitting there cheersing your little boyfriend with your mug of coffee, watching the 10-hour stream of the thing that people put on the Christmas when they don't have a fireplace at their house.
The Yule log.
I don't understand it. People need to realize they're paying for this and to just stop. All right.
What do you mean stop? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Complain.
What are you talking about? What do you
Leave it up to me. I will complain
stop
for
buying things. Stop buying things.
Why are we doing this? It
Don't
makes
buy
the
things.
things. It makes it more expensive. It's technical inflation. It's feature inflation.
That
All
was
kinds of.
we're talking about that, and that was very, very cheap for someone to do that comparatively in like grand scheme of developing a car. So guess what? It worked, Chris. That's why.
It worked what? Because we're talking about it?
Yes, that's different.
Yeah.
That was
Don't buy that car. It's stupid. There. That's what they want people to do, is look at that and see people on TikTok and Instagram going, what is this mess? People have gone, it's gone too far. It's too much. It's too far. Just build a car. It's a tool.
I want boring things, says Chris.
I don't want boring things. I love the Mini. I love what the Mini represents. Speaking of something that is so far removed from what it ever represented, this is another brand that's way off the rails, is Mini.
Sure.
It's basically I don't know what capitalization L luxury it is, but it's definitely upscale, and it never was before.
Yeah,
Mini was a brand that came along when the wealth disparity and the class warfare in Britain was at an all-time high. The Mini led a cultural revolution for an entire class of people that could never afford to drive. Post-World War II, getting into 60, 70, stuff like that.
Car of the UK, for sure.
Now what is it? Tell me what it is, Jake.
I don't know.
Does BMW still own them? I think they do. So it's even if they don't, it's whoever's brand to access a segment of upscale yuppies.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't thought of Mini in a long time. I'll put it that way. So
you aren't the target market, that's for sure. Although you would fit very well in one. You would almost look like a normal sized person in one of those things.
Here's the problem, though. They're not even Mini, Chris.
I know. They're not even that small.
If you have a brand that you paid for named Mini, at least make miniature cars that are different that way. But you can't do that either.
How many more stories we got here? Let's roll. I'm going to skip this last story.
What is the last? Oh, CarPlay is mandatory.
It's about CarPlay. Yeah, we're not going to. We don't need. I can do that one next time.
I love CarPlay. I have it in my truck. It's nice. You know what's cool? Okay, having a new vehicle is so weird. There's some things, Chris, there are some feature sets that I do like. Did you know when I go, hey, Siri, guess what happens? All the HVAC stops. Like the fan, the defrost, everything pauses so it can hear me better. How cool is that? I didn't know that's a thing.
Why are you talking to Siri when you're driving around anyway?
Because
what?
I wanted to call my dad.
And you couldn't hear it because of the blower motor was on?
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That's so
cool.
Dude,
Siri works in my Mercedes with a shitty Continental radio with the defrost on high. It still works.
That doesn't turn your defrost on so it can hear you better. Isn't that clever, Chris? That's all I'm saying.
It's very clever. You're paying for that. You're paying for that nonsense.
All right, so lots has happened in the last year, 2025. The average, as you're complaining about a $60,000 Volkswagen Buzz, the average price of a new vehicle in the U.S. hit over $50,000. Average. The average vehicle, $50,000.
Jesus.
Just to keep things in perspective. Manufacturers are, of course, walking back their plans for EVs. China's BYD overtook Tesla as the world's top seller of electric cars. Top seller. And Porsche's left Russians stranded, as we found out last month.
Yeah.
So, what do we think 2026 will bring?
Can I make a quick comment? Hold on. Before we do this, I just wanted to make one comment. And this goes back to the bus thing, because you mentioned it made me think. Okay. The MSRP of vehicles made me think of this.
Yeah.
In 1970, a base model VW Beetle, deluxe sedan, MSRP $1,800. Okay. Base model bus, $2,000. 2,500. So by this mentality, the bus should be around $40,000. 40, 45. But it's 60. Anyway, I'm just saying that it's so far removed from what it ever was.
I had a whole episode I was going to do on this, but it was too convoluted with math and would get boring, but I think maybe we should revisit it, which is these classic models. Like the Mustang has been around forever. The 911's been around forever. What is the price with inflation today versus the day they were introduced compared to a bunch of different metrics? Like let's use the Big Mac, let's use like the average home price and the average income of an American or whatever it is. And just like how do those graphs all line up? Have
You
cars
also have to say
way
that. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but you're basically want a chart of. But you also have to. What do the cars do? They do more. They do more. They are safer. Performance is better. I'm talking from an average consumer's point of view because I'm
I
with you,
know.
dude. But the
I know.
average
The
consumer is getting
problem
more.
is
They're getting better fuel economy. They're not dying as much.
okay.
They have far higher performance. The features are
Okay.
far higher. The cars are quieter and more comfortable. That's what
Okay.
the manufacturer would say. Yes, they are more expensive, but the consumer is getting so much more. The problem is that we've set the bar for the baseline too high. So the baseline should be basically what my 2008 Mercedes is, which is just car, right? It does have what?
I don't know. It just you get car and you like it. In Soviet Russia, you get car.
Car
You want
gets
more
you.
car? You get more car. You
The
pay
most
more.
that you need, is CarPlay, and that's it. I think CarPlay is
What?
good because I think it keeps people paying attention off their phone. I think CarPlay is very good.
Just yelled at me
Although,
for using
gosh,
CarPlay.
this makes me want to talk about the other
What are you
thing I was.
talking about? We can talk about it.
What?
CarPlay is like mandatory or something.
Well, okay. So do you know about CarPlay Ultra? Do you know what that
No,
is?
I've never heard of it.
So far, I'm going to go right into my previous news thing.
Yeah,
Aston
fine.
Martin is effectively the only manufacturer actually shipping vehicles with CarPlay Ultra in a meaningful form.
Okay.
So this is CarPlay that then runs your entire car. Do you know about this at all?
Interesting. No, so it's basically like my seat settings and all my little like customizations that you do in your car. It
All
would
the
all
HVAC,
go
everything is
with
all
your.
done with the car, with CarPlay.
Okay.
So this came out
Respect,
in when
I
did
guess.
this come out? Like 2023, I think.
Sure.
And
Okay.
Aston Martin has been the only company to adopt it. Why do you think that is?
I guess cost.
No, it's not cost. Because if it was
No?
cost, it's not cost. It's not all the cars already have our CarPlay built in. It's not cost.
Well, because they don't want to relinquish that control.
Yes, you're getting there. Keep going.
Oh, is it like
What is one of
no,
the
cost
reasons
is
why Apple
licensing.
what?
I was gonna say licensing.
No, it's not licensing. Apple is famously aggressive about user privacy.
Experience. Oh, okay.
It's privacy. Apple is religious about it. On-device processing, clear boundaries. Automakers, on the other hand, are what?
Oh yeah, they want all the data.
They
as
want
you're
all the
driving.
data. They're increasingly invested in
Okay.
monetizing you. Subscriptions, usage analytics,
So
behavioral insights, customer tracking. These two philosophies do not align. They don't align.
is that really what it came down to?
I think it is. I think manufacturers don't want, because then the manufacturers have to write all of their code up to the iOS rather than writing everything
You're talking
holistically.
from like a compliance of privacy standards.
Compliance of privacy standards, but also you then have to design your, let's say your HVAC needs to be able to meet the standards of what the Apple Ultra needs to control it. So you're writing
Right.
up. You're writing
Well,
up towards the Apple
that's why I
Ultra.
was getting at cost. Like you have to make the entire.
You have to
system
write the
all
software either
modern.
way. You have to write the software either way because it has to communicate with your own software too. But you're
Okay.
relinquishing control and writing up to Apple standards. So you've pretty much you've lost
And it's
some
basically
control.
just an API.
Yes, but you no longer have control of it anymore. It's now all going through Apple, which means they're not going to be selling your data
No,
anymore.
because what if you buy your car that has Apple or CarPlay Ultra, but you're not using an Apple device? That still exists. There are still people that don't have iPhones, right?
Mhm.
So you still have all of your menus that can be used without the iPhone,
Yes,
right?
you would not
So
be using the iPhone
obviously
anymore.
it works without it. So this
Yes,
is
it
just an
does.
API that talks to it.
Yeah, but
So
I
this,
guarantee Apple's not going to be down with selling your stuff to Geico. It's like a
well,
religious philosophy with Apple privacy.
yes, but my whole point is that's outside of the software. That's an ancillary system that it happens to be connected to. I don't think
If
Apple is
they,
mandating that you can't have over-the-air like data stream outside of this. I do not think that's the case.
why? What's your assumption of why none of these cars have Apple CarPlay Ultra? Then
Cost. You have to literally make all the APIs talk to each other, and that's a
you're
lot of
already doing
cost
that,
in
though.
all these
You're already
systems.
doing that with your own software that you're overlaying, plus putting Apple CarPlay on top of it.
Maybe.
Currently, like in my old Volvo, it had its own operating system. Your
Right.
truck has its own
Yeah.
operating system.
Correct.
They have to design that. It all has to work.
Yes.
All the modules have to talk, blah, blah, blah. So you have to write that software either way. You're spending the time doing it, plus you're writing the software yourself, plus you're making sure that
I think it
CarPlay
has
works.
to do with like licensing costs. Like I'm sure money gets paid one way or the other to license CarPlay. You can't just put CarPlay in a car and not tell Apple about it. There's something with licensing, and that's what it is.
Let's see if
I'm
there's
sure you're right. Some of it is the requirements of that, but I don't think the primary driver is privacy or compliance with that.
cost is baked in the vehicle's price. It's generally understood that automakers integrate this deeper system as a premium feature, paying for development and licensing. Well, others, yeah. So basically, you pay for it. They're passing the with the Aston Martin, they're just passing the cost of whatever it is onto the consumer.
Well, yeah,
but man, there's other luxury brands out there, dude, and none of them have done it. There's got to be a reason.
It's also development.
It's not always cost, dude. This is a couple years old. Sure, Aston Martin has it. They're British. They can never figure anything out.
It's all Lucas Electronics inside.
Can you imagine? You remember the old Intel Inside ads?
Yeah,
but it would say Lucas inside, and then it would just go dark.
Yeah,
All right, new year. Okay. We're in a new year.
All right, so 2026, we had a lot of things happen in 25. So I want to have us go on record, Chris, of predicting things in two categories. One is going to be predictions about the actual industry. Okay, the automotive industry. So either surprises or maybe the biggest story, something that's going to happen in the industry. And then also predictions personally about each other.
Okay.
Whatever that can be. Do you want to go first or should I go
I'll
first?
go first with my world prediction.
Okay.
I believe...
Stick to the automotive industry?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, boy.
I was going to pick that we were bringing buttons back and sell it as a feature. But I know. We already saw that. We already saw it, so I had to come up with something else. I had to come up with something else. We already saw the Volkswagen is doing that. Their regression as progression. I believe that AMG will bring a V8 back in a Halo car. I think we will see a Halo car from Mercedes that is powered by a giant V8.
Okay.
Which we thought was never going to happen again. We thought AMG was dead. It was all small displacement, turbo this, turbo that. I think we're going to see a V8 Halo car out of Mercedes.
Happening. That's probably right.
Yeah, we'll see. What about you?
So I was thinking about this as like the base question I originally wrote down was like, what is going to be the coolest new car in 26? Like, what is the coolest car, the coolest thing that we didn't see coming? Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they made that, which I guess is in vein of yours too. And then I was looking and nothing was going to be that exciting to me realistically that I thought was coming out. So the coolest car in 2026 is the 2001 Renault Clio V6 because now you can import them. 25-year gray market rule.
Dude, this is such a workaround bullshit way to come up with a prediction. Get out of here. That's garbage. I made a real prediction about new cars. This is lame. You're lame.
Well, that's the dumb one. But okay, more fun is the predictions about each other. Well, basically, I'm saying I don't know. I don't think there's going to be anything that exciting.
Well, you better come up with something next week so that you can be wrong.
A better industry prediction?
Yes, that sucks. That's lame. An industry prediction that a car will be imported? Lame. All right, so Jay, I think
we will actually see. Well, we already are seeing, so it's not really a prediction either. But like the Slate and some of these other like cheap EV models, I think we're gonna get back to seeing models that are very bare bones, basic, cheap.
From who? Who's going to be? Let me pin you down. Who's going to be the first? Who's going to be the first major manufacturer to build something that competes with like a Slate, like a base, like put an iPad in the thing.
We saw it a little bit with the Ford Maverick, but that's not basic enough. I think it's going to be someone maybe left field a little bit, like Kia. Maybe Kia comes out with something that we're like, that's actually kind of cool, and it's not even an EV.
I would, yeah,
That's what
I would
That's
put
okay. Here's
Hyundai
the
on that.
prediction. Here's the prediction: is there will be a new, cheap, kind of somewhat exciting, attainable car that is not an EV. They're going to be a gas engine, and it's going to be back to basics.
I think it would be hybrid before it would be gas, but yes, that's pretty good. Okay, so predictions about Jake.
Okay.
I have 2.
I think we're going to have literally the opposite predictions for each other. This is going to be interesting.
Okay. I'm going to estimate that you will say that I am wrong 45 times plus or minus 5 times. So someone out there, the whole year, 45 times.
That's
the whole year.
That's all you
Well,
get.
I'm basing this on usually it's not going to be during an episode where we're talking to doing it. We've got interviews. You're not even there. Like, it's just like, I'm saying
I think
45
I told you
times.
You're wrong at least twice this episode.
Maybe. Someone's going to have to keep track. Maybe Mrs. Producer will have to keep track. I also said plus or minus 5, so it can be up to 50 as low as 40. I also would I am going to wager, and this is high risk, high reward. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm going to wager that you will admit that maybe you should have bought a diesel version of your truck instead of the gas. For some reason that I don't know what it is yet, you will admit that it possibly would have been a better idea.
Okay. That's
okay. Well, we'll find out. High risk, high reward.
I also have a 2-part prediction for Chris.
Okay.
Prediction 1 is that I think he's gonna. Okay, well, actually 3. Okay, because I got specific with this for some reason because it's more entertaining. You're gonna sell 2 cars that you currently own in 2026.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know which ones, but you're gonna sell 2 cars that you currently own in 2026. Prediction number 2 is you are going to buy a boat in 2026. Prediction 3, and this is a stretch. Prediction 3 is that you are going to buy and find need for and eat your words. You're going to buy a pickup truck. You're going to need a pickup truck. That's the big one. You are going to just tooth and nail fight it and maybe not even tell anyone, but you're going to be like, damn it, I need a pickup truck. And you're going to buy a truck.
Okay, I will put that on the same likelihood as you admitting diesels are great. I have thought about buying a boat though, so that's probably not too far off.
The boat might come first. Those are literally, I think it's going to happen in that order. You're going to sell a couple cars. You're going to buy a boat because now you're like, I have room in my driveway. And you're like, damn it, I need a truck. And also I'm going to Home Depot a lot because I had to get lumber for whatever project now that I have this house that I want to do things with. And I should have just got the truck instead of renting the truck. All right, I'm going to buy a truck, but I'm not going to tell Jake. That's going to happen.
No, I give that almost a 0% chance. But that's your prediction. We'll see what happens.
We'll have to revisit this time next year.
All right, guys, that's all we've got time for. Make sure you check out our partners. They keep the lights on, and the Drivers Club. Get in. There will be a point where it gets too late. You have to wait. You have to wait and wait and wait. So
there's no going back.
Yeah, the Event Horizon, the Drivers Club Event Horizon. Overcrestproductions.com/Driver Club. Check us out. We would really appreciate it. On that note, I'm looking forward to a great year. Let's do this. Fun stuff for Overcrest. Let's go. I'm ready. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week.
Take care.